The sound grew louder, circling, scrape, scrape, scrape. Elias dragged Sophia away from the pedestal, heart racing. Then the chamber trembled as something massive stepped inside. A shadow, tall, lean, wrong, for glowing eyes opened in the darkness. Not eyes reflecting light, eyes emitting it. The creature stepped forward, elongated limbs dragging chains that no longer bound it. Its jackal-like head tilted unnaturally as if studying Elias. He froze. The creature inhaled deeply, savoring the air. Then, in a voice like cracking stone, "The seal is broken." Elias pulled Sophia to her feet and ran as the creature lunged. The chase through the tomb was a blur, pillars falling, walls shaking, echoes of ancient chants filling the corridors. The creature moved with terrifying speed, appearing in shadows, vanishing, reappearing. They reached the outer chamber, sprinting toward the exit, but the desert storm still raged, sand walls trapping them, no escape. The creature stepped from the doorway behind them, cornering them. Elias stood in front of Sophia, shaking but resolute. "Why were you imprisoned?" he whispered. The creature tilted its head, chains rattling. Then, in a voice older than the gods, "I waited for freedom. You have given it." It raised a clawed hand, then stopped. A faint glow filled the room. Sophia, still injured, clutched the glowing stone tablet. The creature hissed, recoiling. The tablet pulsed brighter. A soundless shockwave blasted outward. The creature screamed, a sound that made the stones tremble. It dissolved into dust, chains clattering to the ground. Just like that, it was gone. Hours later, the storm ceased. They left the tomb, half dragging each other toward the sunrise. Elias watched the sand swallow the entrance once more. "Never again," he whispered. "We must let it rest." Sophia looked pale, distant. "It isn't over," she said softly. "What do you mean?" She turned her gaze to him. And for a moment, just a moment, her irises flickered with a pale, unnatural glow. For faint circles, like for hidden eyes, it left a part of itself behind, she said. Elias stepped back in horror. Sophia touched her temple. "It's watching," she whispered, "and it remembers you." 3 months later, Elias sat in his study in Cairo. Night, silence, the world asleep. On his desk lay the stone tablet. He had locked it away, sealed it, buried it. But it always came back, as if it wanted to be near him. He stared at it, trembling. Then, tap, 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 3 knocks. From behind his wall, not on the door. The wall. He froze. The sound repeated. Louder. He whispered, "Sophia." No response. Then, slowly, for white lights appeared behind the cracks of the plaster, glowing from inside the wall, for eyes staring out. The voice came soft, whispering through stone. "The seal is broken," and the wall began to peel open from the inside. That night, the desert grew unnaturally cold. Elias sat by the lantern, reviewing photos, scratches, symbols, the mural. Every image felt wrong, like something watching from the edges of each frame. Sophia approached quietly. "You're not eating," she said. "I'm fine." "No, you're not. You feel it too, don't you?" Elias looked up. "Feel what?" She hesitated. "Something followed us out of that tomb." Before he could respond, a scream tore across the camp. They ran. Omar, one of the workers, was convulsing in the sand, eyes wide, mouth frozen in terror. He pointed toward the darkness. I saw. The eyes for eyes, and then he went still, lifeless. Elias stumbled backward. "We need to leave, now." But the desert wind rose sharply, swirling sand into massive walls around the camp. A storm, sudden and impossible. They were trapped dot by dawn. The storm still raged. Tents ripped apart, equipment buried. Omar's body gone, dragged away or swallowed by sand. Sophia shook Elias awake. "We need to go inside the tomb." The wind is calmer there. He nodded. They gathered what they could and pushed into the entrance. Inside, the tapping had returned. But this time, it sounded like something walking ahead of them, luring them deeper. Don't follow it, Elias warned. We stay in the main chamber. They descended again. But something had changed. The sarcophagus lid was now fully open. And on the floor, new scratches, fresh. Sophia pressed a hand over her mouth, trembling. It's here, Elias. He didn't answer. Because he'd seen something else. Footprints, large, elongated, clawed, leading toward a second passageway they had overlooked earlier, buried in shadow. The creature had gone deeper, or was waiting. Against his better judgment, Elias approached the dark passage. When they illuminated it, a new series of murals revealed themselves, showing priests bowing, sealing the watcher inside the obsidian coffin. The last mural showed the creature standing at the edge of a village, for white eyes staring as thousands fled in terror. Sophia whispered, "They didn't bury him. They trapped him, and we unsealed it," Elias replied. The passage opened into another chamber, circular, filled with pillars, each carved with warnings. And at the center, a pedestal. On it rested a stone tablet, glowing faintly, not reflecting light, emitting it. Sophia touched it before Elias could stop her. She gasped, her pupils dilated. Her breathing slowed. Sophia, let go. But her voice came out later, echoing. Wrong. It waits. It watches. It survives. Then she collapsed. The tapping returned, loudly, all around them. No longer footsteps, more like claws scratching stone. The sun had barely risen above the dunes when Dr. Elias Morgan wiped the sand from his glasses and stared at the ancient stone beneath his feet. The desert wind was soft but relentless, whispering like something alive. For weeks, he and his team had followed a trail of fragmented inscriptions found in an abandoned temple, texts that hinted at a tomb older than any pharaoh, a tomb without a name sealed for reasons no scholar had ever uncovered. And now, after years of research, months of excavation, and endless nights poring over brittle papyri, he stood before it, a sandstone doorway carved into a cliff. Hidden, invisible under centuries of sand, but the warning was unmistakable. Across the lintel, thousands of years old yet sharp enough to read, were 5 hieroglyphs that made Elias's heart stop. The one who opens this door invites the end. At first, he thought it was a mistranslation, a poetic superstition. But every expert he contacted confirmed the same meaning. More disturbing, none of them recognized the symbol beneath the words, a jackal's head with 4 eyes, a variant of Anubis, but wrong, too old, older than gods. Elias called for the team. Prepare the lights, he said. We're opening it today. His voice sounded steady, his hands did not. The moment they broke the seal, a gust of cold air pushed outward like a living exhale. Not the heat of the desert, not stale, ancient air, cold, impossible cold. The students exchanged anxious glances. Elias raised his torch and stepped inside. The passageway sloped downward, deeper than expected. Walls covered in dark red pigment depicted processions of masked priests dragging chains, their faces hidden, their eyes hollow. Not a single depiction of a pharaoh, not a god, not even a cartouche. As though whoever built this place wanted to be forgotten. After 30 meters, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. The air grew heavier, pressing on their chests. At the center of the room stood a sarcophagus carved from obsidian, glossy, black, unnaturally smooth. It looked like it had been carved yesterday, not 7,000 years ago. But the most disturbing part was this: the lid wasn't sealed. It looked as if it had been pushed aside from within. Elias swallowed. This doesn't make sense. Sophia, his assistant, stepped closer. Look at the floor. Scratches. Deep, chaotic scratches in the stone, as though something had crawled or dragged itself out. The team fell silent, and then the sound came. A slow, rhythmic tapping. From behind the walls, like knuckles on stone, Elias steadied his breathing, probably shifting rock. Let's document everything, but inside, his instincts screamed. Hours passed as they recorded symbols and scanned the room. On the far wall, Sophia found a mural hidden beneath layers of erosion. When the dust was brushed away, the image sent a chill through the chamber. A figure standing over kneeling humans. A jackal-like head with four glowing eyes, chains wrapped around its arms. And below it, a single ancient phrase, the Watcher who survives the ages. Elias whispered, "This predates the earliest dynasties. This is impossible." Sophia stepped back. But if this is the Watcher, was it buried here? Or was something imprisoned? Before Elias could answer, the tapping sound returned, closer now, clearer. Coming from the corridor they had entered. Tap, 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 footsteps. They turned off all equipment. Silence swallowed the chamber. Then, a faint growl, low and guttural. "Everyone, stay behind me," Elias whispered. The footsteps slowed, then stopped completely. Nothing, just the suffocating pressure of the air and the feeling, the absolute certainty that they were no longer alone. After several minutes, the sound ceased entirely. The team returned to work, though with trembling hands. Elias examined the obsidian sarcophagus more closely. Symbols ringed its edges, concentric eyes, jackal forms, spirals representing eternity. And then he found it, a small rectangular recess, perfectly cut as if meant to hold an object, empty. Whatever was sealed inside, Elias whispered, was taken or escaped.